Welcome to today's episode of How the Game Was Won. Today we're looking at the game played between Magnus Carlsen with the white pieces and Nakamura with the black pieces. The game played at the 9th Masters final in Bilbao, Spain. Game played on the 13th of July 2016. Obviously Carlsen will not be wanting to give away too much of his home preparation that he's already started preparing for his World Championship match that's coming up in November. Here he opened with e4 and Naka answered with c5 and 92. Interesting move order finesse here on Carlsen's part. Depending on black's reply, he can either refrain from playing d4 altogether, and then his knight might be better placed on e2 than f3. For instance, continuing with d6, knight b to c3, a6, inviting white to move into a knight of opening, but Carlsen goes with g3, g6, bishop g2, bishop g7, d4, c takes in d4, knight takes in d4, knight f6, castles. Now we've got some sort of a fianchetto variation of the Dragon Sicilian on the board, continuing with b3, knight c6, knight takes a c6, b takes a c6, bishop b2, queen a5, knight f4, bishop g4, queen e1, queen h5, f3, bishop h3, g4, queen h6, rook d1, g5, bishop c1, bishop takes g2, king takes g2, queen g6, h4. Instead of h4, Carlsen could have gone for something along the lines of knight b6, for instance, allowing rook b8, knight c4, h5, h3, and white has still got a W of advantage here. But after h4 it was g takes h4, queen takes h4, d5, and g5, which looks a little bit way optimistic in this type of position. Better would have been e takes on d5, c takes on d5, queen g5, queen c2 check, queen d2, queen c6, bishop b2, and then you've got a more or less an equal position. So after g5, d takes e4, f4. Just going back to f4 is, and you can see there that white really does not have enough play for this pawn he's got. The knight on a4 in particular is far too far away from the action to be able to make any meaningful contribution. Continuing e6, c4, knight f to d8, rook d to e1, knight e8, knight c5, knight e6, queen f2, f5, bishop e2, knight f7, and sooner or later black is going to be able to play e5, and then his pawn majority in the center is going to be felt in a big way. Continuing, bishop takes in g7, king takes in g7, queen g3, rook d6, rook d1, rook a to d8, rook takes on d6, rook takes on d6, queen c3 check, king g8, rook f2, queen h5. Here again, possibly Nakamura could have played e5 straight away with f takes an e5, or if queen g3, that would just be queen h5 with rook d1 and queen h6, queen h1 make type of idea. So instead with f takes an e5 and queen g5 check, and there is a certain degree of advantage over here for Naka. But anyway, continuing with queen h5, queen h3, queen d1, queen e3, e5, queen g3. Instead of queen g3, Carlsen could have done, say, for instance, f takes e5, rook g6, and it would still mean that Naka would need to work maybe just a bit harder to be able to get the win. queen g3, rook g6, queen king h2, e takes an f4, queen takes an f4, and now the white's position is in total ruins, and it's just up to Naka to have sound technique to be able to bring home the point. Queen h5 check, king g1, queen d1 check, king h2, queen h5 check, king g1, knight g5, knight takes g5, queen b8 with check, king g7, queen e5 check, king h6, queen f4, queen d1, king h2, queen d4, b4, king g7, queen c7, king h8, queen c5, queen c8 check, rook g8, queen takes an f5, knight f3 check, king h3, queen d6. And in this position, Carlsen resigned because obviously after queen d6, rook g2 and queen h6 check would lead to checkmate. So Carlsen resigned. Naka has won his first ever game against Magnus Carlsen at the classical time controls, and that, my friends, is how the game was won. Remember to like, share, subscribe, post any comments, questions, criticisms you have in the comment section down below. I'm trying a new microphone setup here, so please let me know how this works compared to the old videos. And last but not least, remember, stay carved up for the win. I'll see you next time. Cheers. Go Vegas!